Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted, man. What the fuck?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 71 of the Topless Robot podcast. My name is Ryan.
Wait for it.
I'm Tyler. Thank you for that.
Damn.
And it's been a bit. It's been a couple of weeks since we...
It has been a weeks.
It has been a weeks.
It's been weeks.
It has been a fortnight.
You might even say it's been a while.
Get your V-Bucks out of here.
Where's Tomato Head? Brooks, why isn't your Tomato Head action figure here?
Where's
right now?
Tony?
I put him in a chest.
I put him in his cell where he belongs.
I put him in a chest with a bunch of comic books and other weird kid things.
And he hid it under his bed for his mom to find later on.
So
What is this? Can you explain this?
It's Tomato Head.
Sorry, I'm trying new things, Mom.
You don't know me, Mom.
Last week I was at NAMM and had a grand old time. It was like 4 days of walking for 12 hours each day. And it was a lot of fun. We recorded a couple of podcasts, one with Sarah Longfield and Glenn Fricker and Colin Scott and Ty Christian, and the other with Neil Patterson, Rob Bates, and Ty Christian.
I want to ask Glenn Fricker how many times his last name has been torture.
Yeah.
For real.
Right?
I can't help it. I know he's a great person, and I know he's got
He was awesome.
a lot of credits behind his name. But every time I hear his name, I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome.
You know, some shithead kids at school were so mean to him.
Yes.
What, is your real name Glenn Fucker?
Is that a family-friendly version of your name that you have to use at school?
My mom says you can't come over because your last name is almost a swear.
We're allowed to give him all of the shit because he kept cracking bass player jokes. So
Yeah.
I would almost be offended because
Please
I'm almost
tell
a
me he
bass
said.
player.
Did he slap at a bass?
No, that's the fucking low hanging fruit. That's just the
I
annoyance.
mostly just say it to annoy you.
Yeah, that's just the annoyance level. He was actually doing like real jokes, and it was very funny.
I keep getting put down on this podcast for my sense of humor, and I don't appreciate it.
Look, I'm sorry, but slapping the bass is not a sense of
Not a
humor.
joke. It's to make fun of you because it makes you mad.
Hey, what does Tyler's humor and this tape player have in common? They're both obsolete.
Actually, tapes are coming back in vogue, so maybe Tyler's
Which is just
jokes will.
I'm just saying.
so lame.
Isn't it weird?
Tapes suck.
Isn't it weird?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying I find myself
Yeah.
funny.
Well, at least you do.
Yeah, I laugh at myself.
But it's 70s.
At least someone
so-
does.
I don't know. Most people laugh at me. They're just not laughing with me.
I even walk the line of like vinyl kind of sucks too, but it sucks less than tapes. Like I still enjoy having vinyl, but you know, like you don't have to sit there and hold the rewind button. You can
Right.
just fucking pick it up.
Pick it up.
I love having vinyl because of the big artwork and the vinyl, you know, like special.
But a tape is like 3 by 6 inches.
Yeah, no.
Like,
The only thing tapes are good for is for the Commodore 64.
Yes. So at NAMM, lots of people took pictures of me, which is kind of weird. Mostly without my knowing.
is it because you have blue hair?
Probably. So like the back of my
You
head,
cut holes for your nipples out of your shirt.
the back of my head ended up on a broadcast of KTLA. And it's not just like I was in a crowd and you could pick me out in the crowd because of my blue hair. No, the full frame was just the back of my head for a moment in this news broadcast.
I wonder if we could use the back of
Blue
your head
hair
to
is
blue
not
screen
consent.
Yeah, right.
and like edit things in, and edit the front of your face into the
Then there was Madrid Guitars, because Zeke let me know about this. I had no idea about this.
Also, you got to handle a guitar that I really, really did want to see.
Oh, the Lava?
Yeah.
But Madrid Guitars seemed to be posting on their story on Instagram, like weird looking people as a way to shame them. And I'm the only one who ended up in their story twice. Because I had two looks at NAMM. One was I'm walking around recording, and so I had my headphones up and I let it do the weird shit to my hair. So it's like a gesture. And just walking around, normal without all my recording equipment out. And they managed to snap two candid shots of me, one in each, look, and posted it to their story on Instagram.
You've made it big. You fucking weirdo.
I guess.
What you should have done was get a couple of cans of hairspray and then hang upside down off of your bed and then go for that look.
Then I went to Lava Guitars and I started playing one of their guitars. And I was...
It's tickling me.
I was like just paying attention to what I'm doing or whatever, and all of a sudden, like I notice out of my peripheral, because I'm looking down, and I notice out of my peripheral that this woman with a high quality, like professional camera is just taking picture after picture after picture of me. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep playing.
Famous, perhaps?
I have no idea. And so I was playing the white Lava guitar. And
I see.
Someone had the blue one, and they finished with the blue one. And so I put down the white one, I grabbed the blue one, I give her a cheeky look. I'm like, this one's more my color. And I started playing again, and she just took a whole bunch more pictures.
Yeah.
So I ended up in two of their Instagram posts, and they hunted me down on Instagram and messaged me and said that they would give me 30% off a Lava guitar.
How much are they going for?
Like $800.
Oh, wow.
So 30%.
So you're buying one?
Probably eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah, so Lava Guitars, it's a fiberglass, all one-piece molded guitar, acoustic guitar, that has a microphone in the body. And then it also treats the body as a speaker. And so they give you effects in an acoustic guitar. So what you do, you can either have chorus or delay along with reverb. And because it has a microphone in the body of the guitar and it uses the guitar as a speaker, it plays those effects out into the body of the guitar and it just comes out the hole. So you don't plug into anything. You just switch on whatever effect and you play, and you've got chorus or you've got delay or whatever. Whoa, it's really neat.
It's pretty rad, dude. I've always wanted to go to NAMM just to check that shit out once. It seems like it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of neat, weird looking instruments that I haven't seen out in the wild myself that like the Lava, for example. Zeke showed me that a while ago, and I was just like, wow, that's really cool. Like,
it's very
I want to
neat.
like touch one and see.
But you can't, because that guitar is Lava.
Christ.
Boo.
I was into it when it was magma.
The section that I did not take nearly enough pictures, and actually I lost my little gimbal camera over there. So I actually ended up losing a nice camera, but also hours of B-roll footage where I was just walking around the show floor and capturing everything with my little gimbal cam. So I didn't have any, there was an entire boutique guitar section where it's just weird one-off $20,000 guitars. And so all that footage is gone. There was another incredible guitar section, like a booth of a luthier who did incredibly intricate pearl inlays on the body and the neck of the guitar. So like there would be one that was entirely Alice in Wonderland themed, and it was just meticulously pieced together in those pearl, inlays. It was just incredible, absolutely gorgeous. So there was a lot of weird shit, and for some fucking reason, and I know people who listen to the podcast regularly on the one of the previous episodes, recorded at NAMM, I mentioned this. There was esports there. There was an esports booth in the basement at NAMM.
Why?
I have no idea.
That's not even like adjacent.
No.
It's not related in
No.
any way whatsoever.
No. I
Was it
thought
like
maybe.
Guitar Hero at least?
No,
or-
it was Fortnite.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You gotta have something for the kids to do while the parents are looking at guitars.
It was. I don't even. I like the several times that I walked past the booth. I never saw anyone playing.
Why would they? They're a numb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're,
right.
They're musicians. They're there. They're there for music, not Fortnite.
The
How many
The-
V-Bucks would I need to buy a guitar?
like at first I thought maybe they were showing off some sort of broadcast rig or something like that, some
Yeah.
multicast broadcast rig. But no, it just seemed like it was just esports for esports sake, I guess.
The
I have
tomato
no
head came
idea.
up, pushed you over, and dabbed on you.
Yeah. Yes.
Vito Pepitone just jumped from the.
Vito Pepitone, my arch rival.
Though one really cool moment, I'm like sitting outside, kind of hanging out, listening to some music, because they had this giant stage outside that was playing where bands would play on throughout the day. Each night there would be a headliner that they never told anyone who it was going to be.
So stick around.
The first night it was Animals as Leaders.
Oh shit!
And Tower of Power was one of the nights.
Oh wow!
It was absolutely incredible. I never thought I'd see Animals as Leaders. Like, I'm not a huge diehard fan or anything, but Tosin's a fucking killer guitarist.
Yep.
And seeing that was very cool. And Tower of Power, I haven't seen Tower of Power since, like, my dad and I went to go see Tower of Power like probably 20 years ago.
In the ancient of days.
But I'm like sitting there, just vaping, kind of people watching,
Yeah, as one does.
repping my niche. And all of a sudden this scooter just pulls up real fast.
And it's Paul Blart.
No. And you can't even say it.
I can't.
It's
Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
Thank you.
Mall Blart, call blop.
it's Shazam himself.
What?
Sinbad.
Oh.
not Kazam. It's Shazam.
I wish it was Kazam.
he actually
Shaq.
prefers to be known as Shazam.
But yeah, Sinbad was like just rolled up right by me on his little scooter, said hi. I'm like, how's it going, man? He's like, hi. Just fucking tore ass into NAMM. It was awesome.
He went to go find the magic stereo.
So yeah.
It's so funny that you just ran into Sinbad.
Yeah, it's the most random thing. And last year, Ty literally ran into Sinbad while walking around the floor. Like, he was just walking around and just kind of bumped into someone, and it was Sinbad.
Is he a musician or?
I think so. Last year, apparently, there was this thing with Spinal Tap. And so they had a bass off, and with Derek Smalls. And Sinbad like kicked it off.
All right.
So, yeah.
He's just having a good time.
Yeah, seems like it.
I'm Sinbad. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Pretty much.
I would have Sinbad MC my show. That'd be fucking rad.
Yeah. He just seemed to be, he was all smiles, man. He seemed to be having a blast.
Well, yeah, he's Sinbad.
And he rolls up to the security line and just reaches out to one of the security guys, gives him a high five. How's it going, man? Just,
By the way,
it's nuts.
I was not thinking Kazam. I was thinking Zachary Levi from the movie
okay.
Shazam.
Okay, sure.
It's a little bit more recent.
Sure.
I still wish it was Kazam.
Yeah.
Nothing you say will change my mind.
I'm fair. I'm just saying that my brain doesn't go to Kazam when I hear Shazam. It goes to a lot more logical place.
The alternate world version of Kazam is, alternate universe version of Kazam is Shazam.
And Kazam.
You
should have asked him about First Kid or Blank Check.
Wasn't he in a movie called like Brick House or something like that?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I know he was in Good Burger.
I never saw Good Burger.
Okay.
Oh, he was in Good Burger.
So I saw Good Burger recently as an adult, and
It's terrible.
still holds up.
Nope.
Still holds up. The comedy is fucking great. It's awesome. There's
I
so many
was-
little jokes. There's so many little like jokes that like as an adult I understand now that I didn't as a child. Just like things in the background and stuff like that. It's great.
I was too old for all that and Keenan and Kel and shit like that. So I
Didn't
I
ask
did
about
not.
Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah, he was in Jingle All the Way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. He was also shit. I can see the film in my head, but it doesn't matter because it's probably not real.
So
You know when he played the president in Air Force One, or
then Ty and I went to a little YouTuber meetup and ended up meeting Andrew Huang, Mary Spender, Rob Scallon, Simon the Magpie, who I love so much. I had no
what
idea.
I saw that
most
picture. That was
excited
kinda cool.
about.
I had no idea. Like, it was only his second time in the United States.
Oh,
And so, like, I'm pretty drunk at this point, and I just see him walk in. I'm like, oh shit! And I just ran up to him like, Simon, holy fuck! Hi, nice to meet. I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you. Please let me buy you a beer.
Please get away from me.
I bought every YouTuber a drink that night.
hell yeah, hell yeah. You should have invited Simon to come hang out with us.
Yeah. I tried to get him on the one of the podcasts that I recorded while I was out there. He is just such a...
But he's metric and we're standard. And conversion device to get him to we can be able to hear him.
You told him like, hey man, the podcast is just gonna be like about 200 feet that way, and he got lost.
He is such a good
He
dude.
overshot it. He was going in meters.
40 miles.
And honestly, that was the kind of refreshing thing, was everyone I met there were great people.
And no divas. Good.
It was not, and especially Andrew Huang. Andrew Huang is probably the top music YouTuber. Like, he's been around forever. Like, songs to wear pants to, pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows. You know, like all that kind of shit. He's been doing this for a long time and is easily one of the biggest YouTubers, music YouTubers. And not once did he like ask how many subscribers we had, or like try and make a judgment call on whether I'm worth his time.
I feel like that's something you look up when you go to the bathroom.
But no, you know,
slowly sidle away
Yeah,
on the
you're just
wall,
like,
like, oh no, under 1,000.
not once did I get the sense from any of these people that like I was being judged on, you know, how successful I was versus how successful they were.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they're also musicians.
And
Maybe.
stuff like that's just fun anyway. Like if we ever get to that point, I would love to just randomly appear on things that are like, you know, like low subscriber accounts.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hilarious to to me.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if you just show up out of nowhere. Like,
well, this person had like 5 subscribers, and then I showed up. I sat in his car while he ate stuff in the parking lot.
Show up on like some little kids like Lego video.
Oh God, no.
Dumb.
yeah, specifically just to crush his creation.
But it was refreshing to have that experience
Legos are
with
for winners.
That's so mean.
it was refreshing to have that experience with the YouTubers, when earlier that day I had literally the opposite experience with just someone else on the floor, where I went to go meet up with friends of mine, and they were like in the circle of other musicians, and so I kind of like joined the circle, and then like one of them, someone who I didn't know, like told an anecdote about their Airbnb problems, and we had some Airbnb problems as well, where our Airbnb, like less than a month out, canceled on us. And so we had to find a replacement Airbnb and we had it booked for months in advance. And so I, you know, tell that anecdote, and I look over at him, and, you know, he like kind of chuckles, whatever. And then he glances down at my badge, which tells my credentials, and then starts closing in the circle, and with me on the outside of it.
Wow.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Very cool of him.
Yeah.
What a dick.
So like I felt bad about that. So I was like, That's shitty. And like, this is someone who's like friends with friends of mine, legitimate, people who I've known for a long time. And so I was like, well, if this is all just going to be a fucking, credential, whore.
Why are
thing,
people
then
like that?
I have no
One
idea.
thing to do in a situation like that. Pants him.
That'd have been amazing.
That'll show him.
Fuck you. Fuck you, tidy whiteys. Or he's not wearing-
freeballing it.
He's
Oh.
not wearing anything.
But that was my NAMM experience. It had its ups, it had its downs. It was all in all an overwhelming experience. I mean, that's a long fucking trade show, and there's a
never have-
lot to see.
You'll never have as much fun as Sinbad was, though.
Oh yeah, no man, I'll never be Sinbad on a scooter happy. I will never in my life be Sinbad on a scooter happy.
So now we're gonna have to have like a new like mood chart and an angry face, and then at the end, the 11th face is Sinbad on a scooter. I'm just happy that you went to NAMM and didn't come back with PTSD. That's all.
Too soon.
I don't know. He kind of did. We were just talking about that experience when he got closed out of that circle.
That is true.
He might be crying about that tonight. We'll see.
How much
never know.
Agent Orange did you listen to?
Oh, it's Code Orange, okay?
Oh man.
Our jokes are funny because we're above the age where we can be drafted. Yay!
I actually haven't seen Agent Orange play in a long time. So now that that's done, there's a whole lot of shit to talk about.
Yes.
First, let's talk about delays.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Fantasy.
Cyberpunk is the biggest delay.
And I'm okay with it.
That one went
because
all the way back to October, right?
September.
I would give CD Projekt Red any amount of time to work their Slavic magic.
Absolutely.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm just disappointed that I'm not getting it early in this year. I was
But we've
super
already
hyped
been waiting
for it.
how fucking long? Like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a little more okay with it considering there's so many games coming out. They were like, or initially we're gonna have Final Fantasy. What was it? February.
Yep.
We were gonna have
Cyberpunk was
Cyberpunk
February,
was February,
and
Final Fantasy was March.
March.
So like, I mean, there's no way
Collection was gonna
Mega
be
Man
January.
Zero was January. It's now February 25th.
there was no way we'd be able to play all of these games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with them getting spaced out a bit.
Yeah, honestly, like, because I want to play all of them, it's gonna make the time that I spend with each one it's gonna stretch it out a little bit. Anyways, I mean, I'm gonna be playing that Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah.
Not me. I just don't give a fuck about that, dude.
Really?
I've tried. Like, I can't get into Final Fantasy games.
7 is a very special beast.
Yes, it is.
Because
That's what everyone says. And then I
Well-
played it and got bored.
7 is the only Final Fantasy game that's takes place in a cyberpunk universe.
Yeah.
Well, 6 takes place in like 6 is like it feels like 100 years prior to 7, so it's like Square Enix trying to transition their old stuff with what was coming, and
Sure.
it's like a good previously, but they haven't gone back since,
Yeah.
and I want them to. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I guess
mean,
they are. So
I love the cyberpunk world of the dystopian cyberpunk world of Final Fantasy VII, and especially how it's like once you get out of Midgar, like Midgar is the big cyberpunk center, but once you get out to like these other places,
I know.
it's all just
it's
little
Final Fantasy.
yeah.
it's
But all
like-
these little shacks and huts and shit like that.
But
and,
even then, you still see little dots of like, I'm gonna say a word and I don't mean it like this, but aesthetic from Midgar. Like you see like
Not vaporwave.
like cooling towers or like little pieces of technology that are just kind of laying around. And honestly, I think that's what people like between that and the story. That's why people will champion certain Final Fantasy games over others.
yeah.
My stance on Final Fantasy is I can play a lot of other JRPGs with just as good or better combat and definitely
But
better
they're
writing.
completely
Well, I
changing
think-
the combat and the
yeah.
writing's being revamped too.
I think the combat would be more up your alley in the remake.
Might be worth looking at then, because usually the writing is what kills me in Final Fantasy games. Like it's
Shilly shally dilly dally.
it's bad, like bad. Every Final Fantasy game I've played has bad writing.
I enjoyed the writing in 7. Of course, I was in middle school,
poorly
or no,
translated,
I was in
but
high
it's
school
not
when it
bad.
came out. But
The only reason I thought about playing 15 was just because it looked like bros having a road trip. And I thought that would make it funny. But then I saw like the overarching story and I was like, nope, that writing's not very good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's
Bros on a road trip to go kill God.
I feel like that's a JRPG trope in general, though. There's not a lot of JRPGs with amazing writing, with at least dialogue.
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, for me, Final Fantasy has been one of the lower tiers of storytelling in JRPGs.
What would you put up on a higher tier of JRPGs with dialogue writing? Because I feel like it's a few and far between games that JRPGs have good dialogue writing anyway.
You'd have to give me some time to think about that.
Yeah.
Also, we have to consider the localization issues with that as well.
yeah. And
it's one of the weird
localization
things, like-
issues that were bigger issues in the 90s than they are today.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
the master of unlocking.
Yeah.
You say that, and then you play like Xenoblade. It's so bad. Oh,
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade X. Ugh,
Yeah, never
was-
play it.
It hurt my soul.
Well, speaking of JRPGs, I am playing through the Dragon Quest 11 now.
Yeah, the latest one, right?
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining so far. Some of the bad guys are just really stupid. like I enjoy playing, but like some of the enemy names make me want to punch whoever wrote them because they're just like, yeah, okay.
Are they shitty or are they really punny?
They're really punny.
Well, I mean, they
Like,
love doing that.
Yeah, I know, it's great. There's a mechanical egg called the exoskeleton.
Oh Lord.
That's really, really entertaining. And
That's
it's just a goofy fucking game. I love that they're not really taking,
Taking themselves serious.
yeah, like the game takes itself serious. Like the main characters take themselves very seriously, but everything else kind of doesn't. And that's, I think, why I like it so much, because it's just like, yeah, they know that this is kind of weird and dorky, but like it's fun. I like it a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to. I almost pulled the trigger on buying that for the Switch, but instead, actually bought Bloodstained for the Switch.
Probably a better call.
And I mean, I already have Bloodstained on Xbox. I just want to play it on
on the
my
go.
Switch.
Yeah.
But you know, if you'll recall, Bloodstained was literally unplayable on the Switch when it came out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We did
they had to
talk
go.
about that, didn't we?
It had frame issues in the first section.
Like very bad frame issues.
It's like extremely like sub 10 frames frame issues.
They had to do like a day 2 patch, right? Like
They didn't have the patch ready on day 2. Like I was Googling if Bloodstained was worth buying on the Switch a couple of months ago, like to see if they had finally gotten everything taken care of. And they're like, mostly at this point, there's a patch that's coming out this month that's supposed to address the remainder.
Then maybe I can finally start playing it, because I bought it on my Switch months ago.
Oh, really?
And I started playing and it was just like, it is as bad as I thought it would be.
I started playing it as soon as it finished downloading. It plays super well.
Okay.
It plays very, very, very fine.
So when did
It
this
didn't matter
patch get
anyway.
released?
Did you say it plays double fine? Sorry, that was my attempt at a not typical Brooks joke.
I'm just not gonna. That was a Tyler joke.
That was a Tyler joke.
I will.
Look, we get it. We all love Tim Schafer. But
Yes, we do.
so the first big patch came out, I want to say probably a month or 2 after it
That's
released.
insane that it took them that long to get it out.
Because they had issues with their actively developing DLC stuff that was promised in the Kickstarter, and they have to develop all of the fixes for the Switch, which, like, considering the problems that they had with the Switch version, it must have been like a majority ground up rewrite.
I'm just surprised
It
that
had
they
to have
even.
been.
I'm just surprised they even released it on Switch at that point. Like, why would you release a broken?
Because people are
game?
gonna buy it. I fucking bought it.
Yeah.
Like a dumbass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and eventually they made good on it. Like I said, it played just fine when I was playing it last night, and I mean, it's still it scratches that fucking Egomania itch so hard, and I love it so much, and
Yeah, dude.
I'm happy to have it on the Switch.
And that's an Into Creates joint too, right?
No, Inti Creates did the prequel, the
Oh, yeah.
NES prequel. That is Way Forward.
Oh, okay.
Way Forward and 505 is the publisher. And I think there were all other developers involved in it aside from Way Forward. I think they had to call in favors in order to get everything done.
Which, by the way, if any of you haven't played that prequel, do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a choice. It is
Yeah,
fantastic.
It is really good.
It is like finding a lost little Castlevania game.
Yeah. It's seriously cool.
It got me through a very small portion of an international flight.
Well, 45 minutes later and I'm done.
It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I was hoping it was going to make me like scream and rip my Switch in half.
Yeah, I got it with the expectation of like, I am going to have this first level memorized so much because this game is going to rip me a new asshole.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't as challenging as I was expecting to be.
It
for
wasn't
sure.
as punishing as classic Castlevania, but it was definitely
Yeah, and that's because it was
challenging.
It's because it was better designed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also having all those characters at your disposal at any time in the game was very much fun.
Oh, for sure.
And it was so cool to see bosses that you encountered in the prequel then get represented in the full game that came out.
Ooh,
So like that train monster that like reaches out and grabs the rocks and pulls them into him and shit like that.
Awesome fight.
That's a fight that's in main Bloodstained as well.
Descended pain demon.
But yeah, it was incredibly well done. Incredibly well done.
Hell yeah.
And I'm glad that it's finally at a point where, you know, it can be played on the Switch feasibly.
Good. That gives me something to do. Just kidding. I'm going to play Monster Hunter.
So in other news, Terry Jones has died.
Yeah.
Whomst is Terry
R.I.P.
Jones.
Monty Python.
Yeah,
Python.
founding member of Monty Python.
Okay.
I will say that one wasn't unexpected. 'Cause
Yeah.
Terry Jones was diagnosed with dementia quite a few years ago,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
I remember hearing about that.
And he had his last public appearance, I want to say like 3 years ago. He was given a Lifetime Achievement Award for
Yeah.
British cinema. And like he had a handler and like he was out and like he broke down crying because he couldn't actually express words. So
That sucks.
honestly, he's probably in a better place. Dementia's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, if I ever get to that point, I just want people to kill me.
Anything brain related, yeah.
yeah.
Take me out, brother.
I was, and so I'm a big fan of Oliver Sacks, the incredible neuroscientist, out of New York. And he died a few years ago. And he noticed his oncoming dementia. And the way that he noticed it was, he always journaled and was constantly writing. And he would notice that he'd like kind of come to and see that the handwriting had changed. And so especially for someone like him who has such a great understanding
that's the
of how
worst.
the brain works.
If I was a neurosurgeon
exactly.
or a neuroscientist, like, let me die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Don't let me get a brain sickness that
Right.
I know literally everything about.
Yep. And
that sucks.
He's well known for his case studies that he wrote about that read like fiction because they're written so well. Incredible books like Musicophilia and Awakenings was him. That's a true story. So yeah, that was rough. But dementia, man, That
Dementia, Alzheimer's.
that shit comes from me. Fucking just kill me.
Well, that's
just
what
kill me.
Robin Williams. That was the reason he killed himself.
No, it wasn't.
It was it wasn't it was a brain related disease.
I didn't think so. He had something else. That
His wife. I thought it was
Depression.
brain.
no.
I thought it was Alzheimer's or
No.
dementia. But it was a disease. It was like one of those long term diseases that was going
It
to
was
completely.
a disease. It was a long-term disease, but I
thought
think it was a
brain.
cancer.
Was it cancer?
Yeah, I think it was a type of cancer, if I
I
remember
thought it was
correctly.
brain.
It wasn't a brain thing.
Okay. It wasn't. It was depression brought on by, like he was definitely depressed, but the reason, or one of his reasons, he didn't want to have that quality life
Yeah.
drop after he just wanted to go out on his own.
So in our podcast notes, I have Terry Jones died. Terry Gilliam is dead to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whom's this Terry Gilliam? I don't know who
Terry
that is
Gilliam
either.
is another Monty Python
Okay.
person who is responsible for making 13 Monkeys and Brazil and
ducks.
Baron Munchausen and Time Bandits and just like an incredible,
Really good stuff.
incredible cinema. The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, stuff like that. Very, very incredibly creative, but at the same time depressing and dystopic cinema.
Still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
And he has come out. What the fuck was his goddamn wording?
I think I've heard about this.
Yeah,
like
he's,
a trans black woman or
trans
something.
black woman. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
What a douche.
yeah.
Yeah.
a
He's a dick.
Yeah.
I think we'll leave it a dick. I don't
Yeah.
give him any more airtime.
Honestly, yeah. Fuck you. By
Yeah.
the way, Robin Williams, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. It was a misdiagnosis. He had Lewy body dementia,
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
which comes with a very increased chance of suicide, I guess. It's
Huh.
associated with suicide.
Oh,
So
okay.
I knew I heard about dementia.
You know who else
Yeah.
died a couple of hours ago?
Oh God, yeah,
Kobe
Kobe.
Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash.
Yep, with his child.
I think he
That's
was,
rough.
that was
13-year-old child.
yeah, like that's gotta especially suck. Like if you're like an athlete and you don't die because of anything you do.
Yeah, right.
It's rather just like, oh, by the way, this one risk that you're taking, coin flip. It's
Yeah.
wrong.
All I'm saying is if I ever become famous, I am never taking private helicopters or planes anywhere. I mean, the amount of
Leonard
actors.
Skinnerd,
Buddy
Holly.
Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper,
Oh,
and
Roy Halladay, the pitcher.
And
He
who
died in a
was-
plane crash?
who played the main chick in Queen of the Damned? Some pop star,
Oh,
Brandy, or something like that.
Oh no.
Shoot.
Because she died in a plane crash as well.
And it's all private, small
can see your
puddle jumper
face.
planes.
Yeah, yeah. I can't recall who she is at all.
But yes. If you take a public flight, at least other people will die with you.
If I'm going down, I'm bringing everyone down with me.
Like if God's gonna strike you dead, he's also gonna strike like 130 other
Aaliyah?
people dead too.
Aaliyah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Kobe thing is rough. I think that instead of using Yeet for distance, we should just use Kobe for everything from now on.
Yeet is retired. It's now Kobe.
You can't stop me. I'm sorry.
It's now Kobe for everything, so
It's
we
Kobe
can
for
we
accuracy.
can remember. Right. But we're very rarely shooting for accuracy. So we yeet way more often than we Kobe because we are well aware of our own limitations.
Watch me eat. Watch me Kobe.
Oh no!
Yikes, that was bad.
Oh,
That hurt to hear.
oh, it hurt my core.
So,
This is a depressing few weeks.
yeah,
Jesus.
no shit, man. No shit.
Dropping
So
like flies.
we've gotten some spicy news on the upcoming Fire Emblem DLC.
Ooh,
Oh,
spicy.
And it sounds like it's gonna be pretty rad. So instead of all the DLC they've added so far, it's just little changes, like they add outfits for you to have your characters
Sure.
wear and like some new items to help but none of it's that interesting.
Look prettier.
Yeah.
For your tea parties.
One of the only things that was cool is they added the Death Knight as a playable character in one of the routes, and nobody understood why he wasn't in the first place. He already had a model. You fought him. He joined the same army that he's a part of. Why couldn't you play as him? So now you can do that. Cool. The new one's like a whole 4th campaign that they're adding. So this new DLC.
Yeah.
It's apparently there's people living under the monastery who consider themselves their own house.
Huh.
So you just find them.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that's going to work. It's like there's something called the Abyss underneath the monastery.
Oh,
Interesting. So
it's an entirely separate campaign.
So this has the potential to be very fucked up.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's going to be like the Punished story.
Yeah.
Even though one of them was already really sad. But
and the protagonist from Fire Emblem
Is in
Three
Smash.
Houses is in Smash.
and Ho's mad because they're so fucking pissed off that it's another Fire Emblem
Yeah.
character. And God, I don't care. Get over it.
Well, they added a couple of Dragon Quest characters too, right?
One Dragon Quest character, the hero.
And it wouldn't matter anyway. People who play
From
Smash are going to be
11.
pissed off no matter what you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Smash community likes to
Yeah,
They re a lot.
pretty much.
Almost as much as Pokemon Community.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of like
usually one of the-
sweaty tryhards
Yeah,
across
let's
the
see.
world, when they saw that Byleth was announced, they ripped their GameCube controller and threw it across the room. And I hope they had to buy a new one.
Because those things are expensive now.
They are.
Yeah, it's like 30 bucks. 30 bucks.
I see original like purple official Nintendo GameCube controllers for like 60. They're pricey.
Yeah.
they
It's
don't
literally
produce
all because of Smash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty
I
much.
was lucky to find a.
But I mean, you can get cheapo knockoff controllers.
but the knockoff ones are not as good as the originals.
I can't win my Evo competition at Smash without my custom controller.
Clowns.
Hey, I will say this: when I played Rock Band / Guitar Hero competitively, I had to have my fucking guitar.
I understand that superior hardware makes a huge difference.
does,
I
yeah.
just don't like the Smash community.
Yeah.
Want to smush?
Also, at a certain point, superior hardware is like. At a certain point,
Superior
you don't
hardware
know
in the
whether,
hands of a fool does nothing.
at a certain point, you don't know whether because like the hardware can only get so good. You can only trigger that switch. That you can't get past certain limitations.
No, absolutely not.
So if everyone's got hardware that functions at that level, then at a certain point it just becomes some fucking superstitious, latching on
it's
to some
pointless.
horse shit.
well, I will say
nonsense.
it's way harder. Like for instance, on the Switch, like playing with the
Joy-Cons.
Joy-Cons. I kept on wanting to call them Wiimotes.
The Joy-Cons.
It is impossible to play with with those Joy-Cons because those buttons are too small.
Sounds like someone's a filthy casual.
You know what? I will fight you.
Can we get like a sash made that says casual on it that we award people on the show at certain times?
It was the weirdest thing. I was watching AGDQ footage of the Isaac, Binding of Isaac runs.
Yeah.
And they kept referring to people who just like don't speed run Isaac as casuals.
That's
Wow.
that's how they do that.
And I'm like,
It's because they're
I don't think
babies.
that necessarily makes you a casual player.
Yeah,
If you're not as good as I am on a competitive level, then you're a casual.
most of the
video
time
game
it's-
gatekeeping.
most of the time it's a joke. And also think of the perspective of a speedrunner. Like by comparison, everyone else who plays Binding of Isaac is a casual.
I mean,
Yeah, dude. I get it.
I would think that someone who like hasn't beaten the game is a casual. Yeah, like someone who hasn't beaten a game that has been out for 10 years is a casual.
yeah, but
feel
you can beat the
singled
game
out.
and still suck at it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you don't like being a casual and sucking at a game is not, they're not mutually exclusive. You can be a casual and be good at the game, or you can be a casual and suck at the game.
Yeah, I don't think beating a game means you're not a casual though.
No, sure. But still,
It's not an important point either way.
no.
Calling people casuals is just fun. because it means nothing to me anymore.
You sound like a real Smash player right
You
now.
throw it out there. You throw it out there on like shitty online games because you know it pisses somebody off, and that's it. Sometimes you just have to be a toxic shit poster, and it really is that easy. You play a game and just call someone a casual, even if they're not even playing bad,
And just
they just
keep-
freak the fuck out at you.
Just keep
Dan,
calling them a casual.
You're my hero.
You're the hero that we deserve.
It just when I play Smite, people will make the casual complaints about how they're like, this guy's fucking me up, and instead of providing any constructive criticism, just call him a casual, and then they get mad and they play even worse. Like, just have some mental fortitude. Don't be so easy to throw off your game. Like, seriously, is that all it takes? It's too easy. It's
Whatever,
too easy.
fucking casual.
I'm not gonna lie. I am definitely a casual at all MOBAs, and you're the kind of person that makes me not want to get better.
Yeah,
I get in there, and yes, I know I suck.
He
I don't need you to tell me.
He
that.
already gave you advice. Have some fucking mental fortitude.
Do you know me?
Yes, I do. That's
get
why
it.
I was laughing while I was saying that.
there's a huge difference if someone's actually berating you. Like they're calling you terrible things and like actively trying to harass you.
Those poisonous
I don't do
guys
that.
are
Like I'll
idiots.
wait for someone to write a paragraph of a complaint, and my response is just no. I don't call them a casual. I just say casual. And then they chimp out at me, dude. It's because the insult means more to them than it does to me. It's ridiculous.
It's a weapon.
It is. It's a weapon.
You're just going, I know one word
Yeah.
that will just completely turn
Weapon
this
of
game.
casual
Yeah,
destruction.
because chances are, like, I'm solo queuing and there's some sweaty 3-stack in my team, and they're trying way too hard, and they care more. So if you call them a casual, they all collectively lose their shit. I've had someone die like 14 times with 1 kill. And I just they start spamming voice commands. I just say casual, and then they leave the game. They don't even respond to me. They just leave.
As a kid, if
Why are
your
you such a baby?
as a kid, if your brother ever bullied you, you definitely said no. You didn't you, Dan?
If it didn't work, nobody would keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So we got a release date for Altered Carbon Season 2.
I still haven't watched all of season 1. I've watched the first few episodes and I liked them, and then I
It's
got
so good.
super,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
super caught up in a billion other things that I'm watching.
It's so good. Comes out February something. I can't remember the exact date, but it is coming out next month, which is fucking great. On the same topic, Chilling Tales of Sabrina.
It's out now, right?
Yeah, it is out now. The latest season is out now. And I started watching it earlier this week. Picard, the first episode of Picard debuted.
Did it?
And
Have you watched it?
I like it.
Ooh.
I don't want to hear anything about it yet. I will try to watch it this week so I can chimp out next week about how I probably will hate it.
I like it. And, the general consensus is drastically more favorable than it has been for Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, thank God.
But that's only based on one episode.
Yeah, but I know that they're going to bring Guinan back in season 2, and Guinan was one of my favorite characters.
And normally, if the first episode's pretty solid, the first episode's normally the one that you're not really sure about.
Yeah,
Do you know who directed the first episode?
I do not.
I'll have to see if it's a good old Johnny Frakes.
There are 2 things that I will tell you about it. One, it has more action in it than the whole of Next Generation. That's not saying much.
You're not saying a whole lot.
Exactly. But just saying, there's some moves. 2,
Okay.
Captain Jean-Luc Picard, or sorry, Admiral
The
Admiral
Jean-Luc Picard.
Admiral Jean-Luc Picard has a pit bull named
Pitbull.
number 1.
Okay. But Does he have?
You put that back. You sheath that weapon.
He has a pit bull named Mr. Worldwide.
I was gonna say
Mr. Galaxy Wide. Yeah, you have to, on your hand, just.
But yeah, I am hopeful for the direction that this series is going to go. Captain, my captain. You know, like he and always will be my captain.
He is not my favorite captain, but he is the best captain.
Yes,
he's the best captain. And I mean, I grew up watching Patrick Stewart in fucking everything. So my favorite captain is Scott Bakula, but.
Oh, really? You're an Enterprise boy.
I have been.
You almost sounded ashamed when you
You did.
threw that name out there, like you didn't want us to hear what you were
Yeah,
saying.
because no one watched Enterprise.
Because
not a single person watched Enterprise.
I watched it every week. Every week it came out, I watched it. But I mean, I've been watching Star Trek since before I was born.
didn't you see the credits? The thank you for watching us, our only fan Brooks. Like
That is not true.
Obviously, I didn't because I was not watching.
You know, it's funny actually because
you're the reason we're on the air.
my buddy Dylan and you met Dylan, the really tall guy. Dylan and I bonded.
Just so our audience knows.
Yes.
Dylan is a really tall guy.
And Dylan.
He's a really
That's all
tall
you
guy
know.
and a great drummer.
The legend of Dylan grows.
Him and I bonded over our love for Enterprise, the series that most Star Trek fans hate, and it was considered the worst series for a long time until Star Trek Discovery came around, and it was just like, yes, finally, not on the bottom of the totem pole anymore.
Vindication.
Although Deep Space Nice, Deep Space Nice,
Deep Space nice. Deep Space nice.
Deep Space 69.
Deep Space 60 nice.
I hate us.
I'm
I
trying to
love
watch
us.
it again as an adult to like, because I know it's more political and blah blah blah. And I'm trying to see if it's maybe just because I was a kid, that's why I hate it. But yeah,
Yeah, I hate DS9. Loved Voyager.
Voyager
so
rules.
I would say my captains in order would be like Picard, Janeway, Kirk, and fucking Scott Bakula, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I honestly have no basis on which to, frame that because I didn't fucking watch that show.
yeah. Well, if you're bored sometime,
I like Scott Bakula.
yeah, he's great. I mean,
Just his name, man.
yeah, what he brings.
Scott Bakula.
what he brings to being a Starfleet captain, because like what I like about him is the fact that he is the first Starfleet captain, human, who is it coming in encountering all these scenarios that like if like Picard or Kirk or anyone else come across, it'd be routine.
Sure.
It'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever, we do this. But he's got to figure it all out, and he can't call home for help. And so he's got to make all these decisions. And he's Scott Bakula, so it could just be an extended Quantum Leap episode.
Yeah, right.
I also love Quantum Leap.
Yep.
But here I am geeking out about Star Trek again.
Aren't they supposed to be bringing Quantum Leap back?
I don't know. I saw something on the internet that said that someone was interested in that a while ago, but I don't know if I'd watch a new Quantum Leap if it didn't have Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
Just because at that point it's just whatever. What are you doing?
I'm looking at it. Speaking of sci-fi, we also got the new trailer for Clone Wars, the final season,
Oh, that's right.
which I am super stoked. I think that goes live at February 21st, I want to say.
Right on.
Only
And-
on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
But they're bringing
Breather.
there's so many things. There's so many things. It looks like it's going to be running parallel with Revenge of the Sith, which I'm kind of really excited about.
Yeah, it sounds like another Star Wars property.
Star Wars property.
It certainly is.
The best kind of Star Wars, though. Cartoon Star Wars is best Star Wars except for Mandalorian.
I started watching Rebels upon the advice of folks that enjoy it. Tyler.
Love it.
And it's not bad. It's not bad.
Season 1
Yeah, I've
is
heard
probably
great things
The
about Rebels.
hardest thing for me to get over, and this is the issue that I'm going to have with the Clone Wars as well, is just the animation style. Because I see the
Yeah, it's not
animation
great.
style, and I assume, and my brain is telling me that this is for filthy casual children, then it's not going to have any substance because it's made to sell action figures.
You should know better than that.
Yes.
You really should know better than that.
I know. I'm a Gundam fan, but
after the first season of Rebels is a little slow and a little like, oh, let's get the kids into it. And then after that, it just takes off. Like Thrawn as a villain is just beautiful.
no, it's great.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so good. And I will continue. I know I've said it a billion times, but it's so fucking good.
I actually appreciate that it started off a little slow because instead of like jumping into like a bunch of things that I'm supposed to know and keep track of the entire time in episode 2, it's like, okay, so here's a linear plot, and then it's now after everyone's hung out and I know that these characters don't suck. I'm now invested in what they're going to do later. So.
Yep, and it goes that way. They also make they make the obviously kid character less kiddie later on though.
He wasn't like super. He's not like super annoying, which I appreciate.
He's not the worst kid character, but he is kind of insufferable a little bit in those first.
He's
few
not
episodes.
insufferable. He's just force sensitive. Okay, guys. yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I need to
Very
give
We gotta
both Rebels and Clone Wars a chance.
There's also been, speaking of Star Wars, there's also been some rumblings that we're going to be getting an HD remake of Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I
in
heard
the
about
same
that.
vein as Final Fantasy VII, where it's a real like rebuild.
Huh.
And changing the fighting system and making it cinematic and like the way they're doing. As
long as
What has
Just-
BioWare released recently?
Anthem.
Nothing aside from Anthem.
Yeah, so that doesn't sound good.
But I feel like if they take a property that already works and they just fix, like,
If
the issue
they're
with-
remaking it in the same vein to the same degree that they're remaking Final Fantasy VII,
but the issue with Anthem was not that the combat system sucked. The issue with Anthem was that there's nothing that you do in the story.
That's what I was gonna say. Anthem, whose big problem was its writing. Oddly enough, because BioWare's supposed to be touted as like, we write good RPGs.
Yeah.
They wrote a fucking terrible, terrible story for Anthem. But the gameplay was good. Aside from the fact that it would, blow up consoles.
the flying, the flying was good,
But I don't
the
think
fighting wasn't great.
no
The
the
flying was amazing.
but the combat system was good. I don't think I think
the issue
if
was
they're
the loot-
revamping the combat for KOTOR, I think that's something to be optimistic about.
Sure.
because the KOTOR combat was gross.
Bad.
Was it?
really bad. Did you ever play?
I
the KOTOR
never
games?
played KOTOR. No.
Again, fantastic Star Wars stories. Like those are amazing, and apparently they're revamping it. These are just rumors right now, but they're revamping it, and they're going to be making a lot of the stuff from KOTOR canon, which is kind of cool because it was never canon before.
Interesting.
And one of the things that they recently in the movies made canon was Revan, who was the villain in 1, I think it was. In KOTOR 1, Darth Revan was mentioned in the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay.
So all of this stuff was extended universe, never going to be canon, but now they're remaking it and apparently going to be making a lot more of this stuff from Knights of the Old Republic canon, which that was really cool stuff.
Great. Now, if you want to have a successful Star Wars universe, dig deeper into extended universe because there's decades of it.
Two words to save my interest in Star Wars. 2 words. Dash Rendar.
Yeah.
Rendar.
Yeah.
Make him real. Because it's all real.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see some of the old Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast stuff remade proper.
I would too.
They did a remaster that's on the Switch for Jedi Knight 2, which is I love those old games.
They're so fun.
But man, going back to them is like going back to like Doom 1.
I didn't hate the Star Wars games that I played growing up, for sure. I mean,
I loved. Was it Star Wars Battlegrounds? That was the RTS Star Wars.
Yeah,
where you could
Battlegrounds.
even like go into space and have like space battles and shit. Like that was a fucking.
Battlegrounds was the one that was more like StarCraft 1/StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
But then there was the giant space battles was
Galactic Civilizations.
something like that. Star Wars Galactic. Yeah, something
planetary,
like
intergalactic.
No.
Yes.
Um.
PPI.
Oh, is it Galactic Battlegrounds? No, Galactic Battlegrounds was the original. Was the one that was more like StarCraft 2, where it was all on the ground and it really crappy graphics.
But I loved having an RTS in the Star Wars universe, and it felt good. Like it felt like a real good RTS.
Empire at War.
That's what it was. Yeah, those were great.
Those were really
I like
cool.
the old Battlefront games. Those were good.
Yeah.
Like I said, Battlefront 2 is actually really fun now that they've stopped being assholes with it.
Yes.
I had nothing further to say.
We were all expecting. We were waiting with bated breath.
On the Switch, we're also apparently the BioShock series has been.
Yeah, BioShock series, Stranger's Wrath HD just released on the Switch as well.
Yeah.
Which is that great shiny game that was made after Earthworm Jim and Munch's Odyssey. It was the third of their little creature games.
Groovy.
Where you get the weird bug crossbow shit. Bug and animal.
I loved.
shit.
I remember seeing those when I was a kid and just being kind of like grossed out a little bit by I haven't spent such a long time since I've looked at any of them, but there was something about it that just was kind of like ugh. But I kept watching my friend play because I was just like, oh, what happens next? But like, everything's kind of gross here.
Yeah. It's the shiny game that I have spent the least amount of time with. Like I played the hell out of the Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus. Played the hell out of Munch's Odyssey. But
Butch's Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yes, I did make that joke back then too.
And Comedian of the Year award goes to Brooks.
Brooks Wilstein.
So, that we've gotten pretty much to the end of the podcast here. We've got a much lighter beginning of the year than we were originally anticipating, for better or worse. And so that means that the next big title that we're anticipating is Mega Man Zero ZX. That's going to be the first to come out. And then Final Fantasy VII was only bumped back to April. So it was only a month delay, but we'll see if that stands.
Knowing Squeenix, it'll probably get pushed back.
Yeah, get pushed again. We'll see.
Yeah. Should be.
Also, we never talked about it. Sony is officially skipping E3.
Yeah, Sony is officially skipping E3.
Hooray!
Big surprise. We knew that that was going to happen. Actually, I'm pretty sure we said that was what we were expecting probably 3 weeks ago.
But it's official now, and they came out. E3 is like, hey, we're still the best, and Sony is like, no.
Sony's like, it's expensive for us to go there. We're just gonna, produce some videos.
We have our own things to worry about. We've made a car.
It's secretly a transformer that's going to transform into the PS5.
So, what have you guys been playing for the past 2 weeks?
I'm still playing Battlefront. I've been playing through all the single player stuff. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
You gave EA money.
I gave them like $12. I didn't buy the extended thing because I found out they didn't actually.
Well, now
give
they're going to
extra
take
stuff.
that $12 and go buy drugs with it. How do you feel about that?
They're gonna go. They're gonna go buy DLC with it. They're gonna go build DLC with it.
They're going to give that $12 to their CFO as a bonus, and he's going to buy drugs with it.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
instead
You
of
know, maybe
supporting the
he'll-
working class.
Maybe he'll get some like psychedelics that'll like fundamentally change the chemistry of his brain and
Make
then
it
he'll,
worse.
become better.
I've heard of wishful thinking, but man, you are out on a
You
limb.
are putting too much faith in psychedelics.
Yeah. How about you, Brooks?
I got sick last week, and so I called out of work for 2 days. And in doing so, I beat Resident Evil 2. I should say
You beat
half of Resident Evil 2.
You beat Claire's, right?
I beat Claire's.
Yeah.
I beat Claire's, and then I was going to just jump right into Leon's side story, and that was a little hard, so I decided to cool my jets until the next time I get sick. It's always a tradition that I play Resident Evil when I have to stay home and I'm sick.
Sure.
Since I was like 21 or 22, I got the remake of the first one on the GameCube, and I was home for like a week with like a pretty nasty. I was drinking lean.
Oh, so you were drinking Corona.
I was I was mixing the codeine syrup that I got with the Gatorade that I got, but I didn't know that that's what that was. I was just like, I have to drink all this Gatorade. This syrup sucks. I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone, and I was just faded for like a week. It was. So Resident Evil always is like kind of hazy in my brain. It's like, oh man, it's kind of like a nightmare almost. Just get it over with. Let's do it. Do it.
Nah, that's fine.
I stopped playing that, and I got Dragon Quest XI, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I got Gundam Versus, which
cool.
Gundam Versus
is a
blast.
really fun arcade game.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's great, and I get to play as my favorite Gundam, who has a nuke.
Big Zam.
I have destroyed Big Zam. But yeah, that's what I'm playing.
Gundam Versus
Cool.
is a blast.
How about you, Dan?
Monster Hunter every day, all day. I finally made it to the post game of Iceborne, so I've beaten the whole story. Which,
Is it?
well, Monster Hunter is not supposed to have a good story. Who gives a fuck? Let's hunt some monsters. Like that's the story. And they tried really hard to make like a more serious story for this one, and no one gives a fuck, dude.
Get
Nobody
in,
cares.
bitches. We're hunting monsters.
I watched Mean Girls on Friday.
The only thing that still frustrated me is that with Iceborne, they really fucked up the optimization on it. I talked about this before.
Yeah.
But even after they've released this patch, the game still like before Iceborne I could play it on full like ultra settings.
Sure.
Now I have to play it and limit it to 30 frames per second to save my CPU's life and play on like medium graphics.
That's shitty.
It's really sad.
Goddamn.
Or like my computer will just blow up.
That sucks.
So
Sounds
I'm
pretty casual.
hoping maybe there's another patch coming out that'll help me, but I doubt it. I think I'm just punished.
They've already.
Yeah, and it's the only reason it's cutting people's CPUs in half is because they're forcing like really shitty like easy anti-cheat that you can just walk around. Like it's bad, and it just rips your CPU in half. It's
shitty.
so frustrating.
That's really
But the
shitty.
game is really good, so I can't stop playing it.
Yeah, I have been. Like I said, bought Bloodborne and on Switch, and so I just started a whole new game.
You said Bloodborne.
Not Blood. Yeah, sorry, Bloodstained.
I was gonna say.
Bought Bloodstained on Switch and started that from scratch. Even though I'm technically at endgame on my Xbox save. I'd fuck it. I'll play that game over and over and over again a million fucking times.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Just like I will
balance of all things.
just like Symphony of the Night. Every single time they re-release Symphony of the Night, I played it on that platform. So it's just down the rabbit hole I go.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah, brother.
we got to get tickets for Valentine's Day.
Yep. Sonic.
That releases on Valentine's Day? I thought that was releasing later in the year.
Nope.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I just saw the
Really?
final trailer for it on TV.
Really?
Time for an episode of Topless Robot Watches.
Is Valentine's Day the 14th?
Yeah.
I can't go. Sorry.
Well, let's go on a day that you can.
Yeah.
Like
We are going to have a group outing for this one.
Yeah, like a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Like a Wednesday. How does Wednesday work?
All right.
Yeah. We're going to have to do it.
It's okay, Dan. You can. I will pick you up so you can get really drunk.
Get in, bitches. We're watching Sonic.
And obviously, we're going to watch it at the Alamo.
I've never been thrown out of a movie theater before, but I don't want to be. Like, it's a point of pride that I've never had to be bounced out of a theater. But if you take me to that, I'm probably gonna have to get bounced.
So we won't go to Alamo then.
It would be a kind of fun. Like, we went to Alamo Draft House and got kicked out for being assholes during Sonic.
Yeah, I know for a fact that Brent has his tickets already. He's ready.
Yeah.
He's ready.
We got to go. All right. Well, on that note, we'll leave it there. Thank you for watching and or listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
So long, farewell, Edwitas. Goodbye.
I'm taking off today and breathe. Sometimes you have to sit if you want to make a stand. Hate the shit, taking liberties. Taking liberties.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again.